Hey everybody, today I'm going to install Night Fision premium tritium sights on a Glock Model 19. Here's the equipment I'm going to use to do the removal and installation. Here's a 3/16 inch front sight nut driver. This one's made by Aerotech and it's good quality. I'm going to use a rear sight push tool. This one's manufactured by Glock. It'll help me remove and install the rear sight. Some denatured alcohol to clean around after I remove the sights before I reinstall them. And I'm going to use cotton swab applicators to use the alcohol. And I like the medical grade ones that because they've got a longer reach, so I just buy them by the boxes. But regular Q-tips will work as well. And I've also got some blue Loctite to make sure that everything stays in place once I put it there. So first I'm going to unload the firearm. I will check the chamber both visually and manually, as well as the magazine well. I'm satisfied now that it's empty, so I'll release the slide, point in the safe direction, press the trigger, I'll remove the slide from the frame. I'm going to take out the recoil spring assembly and the barrel. I'm just set that stuff aside, and that's what I'm going to need to work with. I'll take and put the slide into the push tool, tighten it down, and I'm going to remove and install from the right. You may be able to see that as I turn, the rear sight is being pushed out of the groove, which is really the way that it seats in there. It's just in a groove. You can remove the front sight. I'm sorry. You can remove the rear sight using a like a punch or a small screwdriver. Maybe something that width that'll fit down in the channel, and it'll work as well. You don't have to have a push tool. I just like it for the convenience. I've pushed the rear sight as far as it will go to the right, and I'm going to hopefully be able to push that the rest of the way out. I am going to need my screwdriver, and I will put the screwdriver down at the very base of the groove so that it doesn't mar the finish. I'll take just maybe a light hammer and just kind of tap. See, it doesn't take much, but again, I want to be careful not to not to mar the surface, and that looks pretty good there. That's the rear sight when it comes out. You can see that it's basically just a groove right there. So I'll put that aside. While I'm at it, I'm going to get my 3/16 inch nut driver for the front sight, and literally there's a nut under the slide right toward where the barrel protrudes, and that's on the underside of the front sight, and that's what's holding it in place. So I'm going to put that nut driver down there and turn. Not quite there yet. Yep. There we go. The small little nut and the front sight. I may have to push that out a little bit. There we go. I just used the end of the cotton swab there, and it kind of stuck in there. You can see this one's got a little rust on it. these firearms have been really used in all kinds of weather. So now I'm going to take my alcohol and get a little bit on there. I'm going to clean around where I removed the sights. I do this just to get away any oil, dirt, debris that might get in the way. I want a good you know, connection with the sight and the firearm. So I'm going to do that front and rear. Just clean out that channel as good as I can. And then I'll let that sit while I'm putting that stuff away, and then the alcohol will dry and I can go ahead and do what I need to do next. So I'm going to move the front sight and the rear sight out of the way. These are the factory sights that came with my Model 19, and that's what the front sight looks like, a little post and the bolt. And I'm going to take my new sights, my new Night Fision sights, out of the packaging. And make sure that's good and dry. Now I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on the rear sight. Not everybody does that, but I'm going to. When you use a firearm significantly in training and things like that, I've seen too many times where these things have you know, fallen off and stuff like that, and I just don't want that to happen. So I do it, you don't have to. So I'm going to take the groove of the rear sight and I'm going to put it in the groove channel at the rear of the slide, and I will push that in as far as I can get it by hand. Make sure it's as straight as I can get it. I'll take my push tool. When I use the push tool, I try to center the sight with the push tool. Okay, I'll tighten it up just a little bit, and I'm going to start to push the sight back over. There we go. And you can see it's starting to move back over where I want it to go. If you have a vise or something and you want to do that, do this with, that would be good too. I'm just doing it this way simply so that you can see it, and it was easier for me to just do it this way. Now, where to put the rear sight? Center it. That's the easiest thing to tell you. That's really all that's necessary. And so there's not a mark or a special magic place. Okay, that looks pretty good for me. So I'm going to loosen that up and take it out. And I want it centered, equal distance on both sides. That's what I prefer. That looks pretty good. I'll move it over. Actually, no, I'm going to leave that right there, the way it is. Get away some of the excess Loctite there. Simple as that. I'm going to take the front sight. It's already got the little nut on it, so I'm going to take that off. We'll set the bottom piece there down into the slot. Oop. And I'm going to put a little dollop of thread locker. Oh, that is not a little dollop. There we go. So just a little bit, that's all I need. This is the tricky part for me. You could probably use needle nose pliers or something like that to make this part a little bit easier, or maybe even the nut driver itself. So I'm going to get that guy going there. There we go. I'm going to get it just to where it starts to snug up, and then I'm going to eyeball it with the rear sight, and I want to make sure that it's even on both sides all the way down. That's parallel. I obviously don't want that crooked. Again, no magical formula there. I'm just going to line it up the best I can. You would be surprised how accurate it'll be, just like that. And so I will take now, I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to take and tighten that the rest of the way up. There we go. And I'm happy with that. And there we go, that's the final product. So the rear sight's in place, front sight's in place. I'm satisfied with the way that lines up. And so now I will reinstall the barrel, recoil spring assembly, reattach the slide with the frame, and of course the last thing I'm going to do is make sure my firearm is ready to fight, and that's it. So that's really about it. The entire removal and installation only takes about 20 minutes or so, and it is not a complex procedure. I'm looking forward to taking it out on the range and see how they work. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps. I'll see you again next time.